Hello everyone, we're here. Today is Monday, the 15th of August. I think it's a holiday in Spain, but we are in Norway, so we're trying to work. It's a beautiful day, although it's pouring rain, and our hair is kind of funny, but it was a beautiful weekend anyway, and we're very lucky because as it is rainy, it really feels like working anyway. Okay, so today we have two people from Hamar University College, and we're gonna introduce them to you. Well, Hamar University College is located in the central eastern part of Norway. It's got more than 5,000 students, and it is one of the largest university colleges in the country. Here in Hamar, the campus Hamar, it's the Faculty of Education and Natural Science, and it's got like 1,700 students enrolled in research-based study programs within the fields of humanities, social sciences, teacher, education, fine arts, computer science, and biotechnology. The faculty provides diverse opportunities for short-term exchange students and degree-seeking students from our worldwide network of Erasmus, Not Plus, and bilateral partners, as well as for free movers. And today I want to introduce you to Stian Vesby. Hello, Stian, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
And you're doing good?
Thank you. And I also want to introduce you to Jens Hogan. Okay. I'm going to give you some information of their backgrounds. Stian Vesby is an international coordinator at Hamar University College in the Faculty of Education and Natural Sciences. He's 17 years old. He would love to be 17 years old, but he's actually 33 years old.
In my mind, I'm not more than
12.
around 7.
Okay. Well, I'm around that also. So he's worked at Hamar University College as an international coordinator for the last 3 years. He works mostly with student exchange and international relations through various different programs that are running currently. He also holds a master's degree in cultural studies focusing on Chinese rock, which is quite shocking, I think. And for his undergraduate student, he spent a lot of time in China and Taiwan as a Chinese language student. He also plays guitar and keyboards in an indie rock band called the Orhats. Is that alright?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will ask you more about that later on. And then I want to introduce you to Dr. Jens Hogan. Dr. Jens Hogan is an associate professor in Norwegian, although he's from Germany, right?
Yes.
Everything is the other way around today. He's been working for Hamar University for the last 4 years, and before he worked as a researcher at the University of Trondheim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With projects related to what we usually refer as ICT, which is Information and Communication Technology, and learning. Okay? It would be nice to talk about that also later on. He's worked at the Department of Scandinavian Studies and Comparative Literature, also at Trondheim University, as a doctoral candidate and partly as a university teacher in Norwegian language. His doctor's degree is within the field of Nordic linguistics, Old Norse syntax, and information structure. That sounds also amazing. Okay, and he also holds a master's degree in German from the University of Trondheim as well, and studied music at Bodo University College. Okay, so now what are you doing in Hamar? When did you arrive? Why? What brought you here? Staying?
Okay. I arrived in Hamar about 3 years ago because I got my job here as international coordinator. So,
and you
in
come
other
from
words,
where? Where were you before?
Before that, I was a student at Telemark University College, where I did my master's.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a different county.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm originally from Hedmark,
Okay.
so moving to Hamar 3 years ago was sort of coming back home.
That's nice. And what about you?
I've been here for 4 years, 1 year longer than Stian. And I came from the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, which is the former university in Trondheim. So, and I came here because I used to work with ICT and learning, and I wanted to come back to my original field, which was Nordic linguistics.
Okay. And now you've been already living here for a few years, so what do you like about Hamar? What would you like, that everybody watching is not Norwegian, so it's like we really have to communicate how this everyday life is in Hamar, because it's quite different, for example, from my background. I live in Madrid, I've been living there for many years, so it's like really different, so I would like to, you to express how is your everyday life, what you like the most, what you don't like, if there's something that you miss or something.
There are a number of things I like about Hamar. One of them is this is common for many Norwegian places, but we have lots of weather also in Hamar, meaning that like today the rain might be pouring down, or the day after it'll be incredible sunlight. And Hamar is a good city. We have a big lake, we have beach, so in that aspect it's very nice. In the winter, Hamar is a very, very cold place, partly because of the lake and because of our inland location. I like it when you have the contrast in weather. So there are many other examples, but that's a part of Hamar I like.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
Well, I've been living many places in Norway, from the North Cape, and 17 years in Trondheim, and you say we have a lot of weather in Hamar, but I think the most charming thing about Hamar is that you don't have so much weather. Because when you live at the coast, the weather just changes from 1 hour to the next, and the winters are very unstable. You have like 1 degree, 2 degrees below, and even plus degrees during the winter. But here it's winter. We have actually snow, and it's cold. It's like 20 or 25 degrees below zero, which is rather cold. But I like it because it's stable. You have winter and it's white Christmas. In Trondheim, you don't know whether you get a white Christmas. So the coast is more unstable, and I like it. Mm-hmm. And the summer it used to be very stable. The first 3 years I lived here, we had like 25, 30 degrees during the summer. Now this year everything is turned upside down, and it has been raining all the time. But generally I would think that the weather is much more stable, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that we just have a different experience.
Yes, it's funny. It's, okay.
Maybe it's more unstable than in Telemark. Or in China.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite place in Hamar, or what do you prefer to do in Hamar? Like in the weekends, what's the ideal weekend? What would you do?
My most favorite place would be my own house and garden.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, well, I like the city center actually, even though it has been quite a debate about how you drain the city center because of the malls you build outside, and which I think is a problem. We need to have a living center, and I think now we have a good opportunity to do something about it. Mm-hmm. But and also I like Mjøsa, the beach and the area around. You can walk and then just enjoy yourself and meet people or not meet people.
Mm-hmm. And what do you do in the weekends? Do you go on the internet to check for some more Chinese rock, or do you go to some bar, to some Norwegian rock band, or what do you do?
All of those and many more. Living here gives you the opportunity to see concerts, to see theater, to watch the latest movies in the cinema theater. But sometimes I do take part in that, but most of all on my spare time I actually go to one of the places in the hills nearby Hamar where you can be outside in nature. Mm-hmm. Fishing, taking the dog for a long walk in the forest, and perhaps have a barbecue outside. Mm-hmm. and that's not necessarily in Hamar as a municipality, but in the immediate nearby locations.
Okay. And what do you do at work? How is your work like?
It's very diverse. Working in the international office on this campus in Hamar, there are plenty of interesting things and activities to take part in and develop with students, with the teachers and researchers like Jens.
How many international students do you usually have every year?
Every year, I would say approximately 100 students coming through the international office or as students for a degree applying directly from abroad.
From which countries? I mean, the majority? Is there any...
We have students from lots of Erasmus exchange students from Europe. We have plenty of degree-seeking students from Southeast Asia, countries like India, Bangladesh. We have students from Russia and many other countries as well. So, for instance, last year we received students from more than 20 countries.
Wow.
And that's excluding people with an international background that has already lived in Norway for a while and applied through regular procedures. So
that's quite multicultural.
It's a very multicultural sort of community within the larger community of Hamar. Yes.
What about you, Jens? How is your everyday work?
Well, when it comes to international students, actually I teach some international students also in Norwegian. We used to have a partner university in Germany, in Greifswald, and they usually send 1 or 2 students here. And recently we also got students from Poland. So I really enjoy having them in the normal classes, and they do very well in Norwegian grammar.
How long does it take to learn Norwegian?
Normally they have studied 1 year before they come in. So the German students, since German and Norwegian are related, it's much easier. But even the Polish students do very well, I would say.
What about Noah and me? How long is it gonna take us? 20, 30 years?
Of course, I'm starting next week on Wednesday.
I think I don't have the energy to learn Norwegian.
You should try.
I really try to pay attention, but I don't get a word. It's like so amazing, it's so different, and well, it's nice to listen
it's
to.
It's always when you hear a new language, it's strange.
Different.
But,
and which are the students who make, it's like who are more successful learning the Norwegian? The Germans or?
Yes.
Well, apart from all the Scandinavians.
It's easier for the Germans and Dutch students. We don't have Dutch students as far as I know. Yes, I had one, but she has lived here for 20 years. So
that's not fair. Okay. What do you find like more relevant or characteristic about Hedmark University College, like compared to the college that you attended, or what would you say, like any specific feature?
I can perhaps give a couple of examples.
Yeah.
Hedmark University College has 4 campuses, and if you look at the University College as a whole, for instance, our northernmost campus in Evenstad, they have studies in applied ecology and agricultural sciences. And parts of the agricultural sciences is actually located, even though it belongs to Campus Evenstad, it's located nearby Hamar on a farm just outside the city called Blestad. And it shows the connection to traditional professions in the county. The fact that this Hedmark is, from what I know, Norway's largest agricultural county. I might be wrong, but at least it's large and it's a major industry. So that shows the relevance. Another example is a study program that study programs that we have in the Department of Fine Arts and Computer Science here at Campus Hamar. Studies in animation, in visual simulation, and also virtual arts and design. These are very popular bachelor programs, and one of the results of the establishment of these programs were small businesses popping up in Hamar, engaged in computer design, game development, and development of online applications, etc. So it has sort of a synergy effect where some student-based businesses appeared in Hamar and created an environment, a culture for that.
Wow. And how about the students meeting after the classes? What is the most popular public space for them? Where would they meet?
That's not easy to answer. But
I know.
we have Hydranten, which is a student place where we have rock concerts and public debates and things like that. But there are so many pubs and places around in Hamar. I just read in the newspapers that Dirtinelli and places like that, which cluster the other Torget, the other square.
Yeah.
They are very popular, but depends on what you like.
How about Dream Hamar? What do you know of the project? Have you read a little bit about it? I don't know. Just what is if I say Dream Hamar? What would you say? Like, what do you think it's gonna be like or about?
It's a tough question, but I know a little. But I think I still have a lot to learn about the project. What immediately comes to mind is the square, Stortorget. Sort of the location that's actually going to be developed into something. At the moment, the square is not very attractive the way I see it, and I hope that it will evolve into something that can reflect perhaps the diversity of Hamar and the region, as well as be a meeting point and an interactive place for people, and not only a place where you park your car.
Yeah, of course. What about you, James?
Yeah, I think when you look at it now, it's a place with potential. First of all, you see that something should be done with it.
Of course.
It's just, as you said, it's boring, but it's. I see a great potential, and especially on our National Day, 17th of May, you see all these people gathering there, and it has a function, and it has tradition too, I would say. It's important for those who grew up in Hamar and who know about Hamar history. I don't know so much about it, but I've noticed so far that people gather there, and which is kind of strange that one of the most famous restaurants is right by the Stortorget, Hamar Gjestgiveri, which is always in trouble. But I think
what kind of trouble?
the owners change all the time,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
difficult to run it. Which I think has to do with the problems we have with the city centre, because
Of course.
we need to make it more alive. And I think this project would absolutely attract more people. And if you, for instance, open up for Stortorget and have a view and maybe integrate it in a special way, it would be very interesting, and people would use it. I think we need to have these traditional places. We cannot just build a new cultural building and everything new. We need something traditional to have a root in the old home.
You know that we are organizing and communicating and trying to understand the project through these 5 topics that I was telling you before. These 5 topics are 1, technology, then people, then environment, then activities, and then seasonal strategy. Because we really believe if we were able to answer all these questions, it would be like a kind of a proper place where many different people could actually meet and interact in different ways. So regarding these topics, which one would you be more interested to attend? I mean,
The most important thing about any community are the people.
the people. Yeah.
So there's no life without people. So you can have all the technology in the world, but you cannot just like put computers or net points there. You need the people.
Mm-hmm.
So there must be something that attracts the people, and well, from the people and the way to gather them, you need activities, of course, or that the space in itself invites to activity. So you don't necessarily need to arrange activities. Maybe that just happen because people are there and they want to use the space.
That would be the ideal also. What about you? Which workshops would you join?
I haven't decided specifically where to show up, but what interests me are especially the environmental one, and also the one about activities. I'm concerned about the environment. I feel that a successful public space should somehow reflect strategies for having a sustainable environment locally. And I also feel that as far as activities are concerned, it's like Jens just said, the people make the space come alive, sort of. And if the space invites you to take part, I think that's an excellent idea. And then I guess it's up to the dreams of us as inhabitants and citizens of Hamar to come up with some ideas. I thought a bit about the title Dream Hamar, and I'm not sure what was the intention, but if the dreams of the people of Hamar can be reflected somehow, it's a great idea.
That's a challenge.
And it's a big challenge, and it might be lofty or a bit not down to earth, but I think it's great that you have that if it can reflect dreams and aspirations to a certain extent.
I mean, and also the idea is to keep the process open. It's not about architects or designers coming and deciding everything, leave it as a closed design, so that there's nothing else to be, to interact with. It's more about, okay, since we are in charge of making this design, let us try to open the process so that we can have a conversation about it, and then as designers we'll try to do our best in collecting all this information and trying to give it shape.
Of course, there are many different interests in the space too, because depending on which age group you belong to.
Of course.
I think the youth would maybe be interested in technological development.
Devices, yeah.
They would like to, in the summer when there is good weather, not like today, sit outside with the computers and actually have the possibility to sit and gather in small groups and maybe to look at girls or boys. And I mean, you need both a private space and the possibility to be in public, to show yourself. So I think yes, for the youth to use the space, you need that. The other thing I mentioned was like public arrangements, like a national day. Then you need an open space. So personally, I would like to have many trees and green, but then you have a problem, because when you like to have the space open, you cannot just plant a lot of trees. You wouldn't see anyone. The mayor is supposed to be in front of the people and talk, and so I think there is a problem how you design the square with the green and at the same time keep it open.
And for example, can you give us some kind of example of some other public spaces in all over the world that you actually experience in a positive way?
Yeah, there are many examples, and it's really hard to pick the top ones.
No, not the top, it's your top ones. It's like there wouldn't be one answer. It's like, you know, what kind of experiences you can really recall as something really positive concerning public space or interaction with people or having kind of urban experience.
Well, one very famous square that has a very dark history is the Tiananmen Square in Beijing. And I've been there many times. And just considering the whole atmosphere of the place, you know, and matching that with the very devastating events that happened there, it's just a special experience to be there. I've had some great interactions with Chinese people there, whether they were tourists, whether they were locals, playing around with kites high up in the sky, or other foreigners visiting, like myself. I don't know how that place can compare with.
But that's amazing because it's a huge surface and it's quite flat. There's no sun protection. So it's really shocking that you find that space as cozy somehow, that you know, to allow any kind of interaction. I mean, I like to hear that experience, but it's not something that, you know, I would actually think of, like the Tiananmen Square, which is like a kind of a right?
Yeah, no,
it's like
it's just a multitude of impressions going on, and but as I said, I've interacted with people on the square, and you know, I remember certain people I met. I remember seeing people flying kites up in the air. And of course, all the impressions of the architecture around and the history that the place has. So it's, whether you can call that a successful public space, I don't know. But at least it's a public space that made an impression on me. In Hamar, we have a very different place down by the beach, Koigen, and I think. The developments there, where they have included a skating park, is a basketball court, stuff like this. It also represents a successful public space to me, where there are people. Most of the time, they do activities together. They have, for instance, youth. They have something to go to, a place where they can do meaningful things and have fun, instead of just sitting home and being bored. And this applies not only to students at Koigen and along Mjøsa towards the church ruins at Domkirkeodden. I think people of all age groups would enjoy that particular public space.
What about you?
Well, when I think about public spaces, I think of most of them have developed during centuries. It's not just something you design and then you have a public space and it works. So I think of many places in Italy and Spain, and they're usually in connection with churches and not that many trees, just stone. But when I think of them, I always think of the restaurants nearby. It's like you have an open space, but you can just hide and be at the edge of the space. And sit and watch people go by and have food and drinks and talk, and I think it's important to have such opportunities around the space. So you need to give people the opportunity to actually be at the space, but not necessarily on the space. I mean, what are you doing? It's usually only cross the space. There's nothing else to do. I would also prefer, since it's where it's gonna be, you need a stage that people can perform during the summer. Maybe we can have international performers. They used to travel around and perform for the hat. So and give them a stage and let normal people use the stage. During the recent years, there has been several people who are educated in telling stories, so we know some of them. they just need a small stage just to tell stories to people, to children, to anyone who wants to listen. And then that's kind of life that I would like to see. Natural. You don't need big arrangements. You just need opportunities for people to show themselves.
Yes, it's about creating the basic infrastructure that provides the possibilities of people doing things.
Yes.
Right? It's
I would also like to hear classical music in public space because we don't have that usually. So if you have a pavilion with a roof, so you can sit there 4 or 5 people and play a string quartet or something.
Well,
really nice.
actually, I was in Oslo yesterday and it was pouring rain. It was amazing. It was really raining. But still, I was in the new opera house, which has this beautiful platform, and there was some rehearsals, and they were open air, and everybody was standing and sitting there with the umbrella, even if it was really uncomfortable because of the rain. But still, there was people just coming for that, and it was really impressive to see this flat platform full of open umbrellas with all colors, and it was very nice.
And we have these people in Hamar too. Yesterday we had a blues jam in Hamar, and there were people sitting outside with their umbrellas and listening to just improvising. And it's not like this special music or something you would pay hundreds of kroner for.
So you just have to play more often and in the public space.
But it works, so you just need to give the people the opportunity to be somewhere when it's nice.
Okay, Noah was here. She was passing me one question that was on the chat, and someone was asking that if the Stuttgart is very close to the campus, do you think it would be possible that some of the activities, the teaching activities or learning activities that are actually taking place indoors in the campus, could actually be moved to the public space, so that we could have like open air classes? What do you think?
Well, we have teacher education, and we have this preschool teacher education, and they often work outside or teach outside. So
and in where?
Anywhere where it suits. Depends on what during the winter they are making snow figures and things like that, or going outside to look at the nature. So I mean, if there is a cultural building and if there are more facilities that we could use as a Norwegian teacher, I could go there and sit outside and talk about language. And also, if we could have, personally, I would like to have more contact with normal people, not only students, but I would like the University College to be a part of the city much more than it is now. I would like to have an open university strategy where people can just come and listen. So,
but actually, that is totally possible with the technology that we have at the moment. So it would really be very basic, to have like a kind of open doors university, that some of the classes could take place outdoors, or a kind of more transparent.
And also, if you have a big screen on a wall, people could sit there while we at the campus, and we teach our class, but it's transmitted to the screen.
Broadcasted.
Yeah. So people could just sit there and follow. And I would like the school to be much more open, because I think also older people might want to study more. You don't need a degree, you can just come to class and learn more.
Oh, yes, of course.
So I would like to invite them in, and it would be much easier if people knew what was going on in the classroom, because it's not dangerous. Actually, it's quite healthy to learn more.
Yes. I would like to ask you something also regarding this. It's like all these international students, this 100 or whatever amount, they come every year. Do they have any opportunity to actually meet Norwegians? And because that's very much related also to the public space. And you were mentioning that you at the campus, you don't like to be only with the students. You would love to be also with some other kind of people. So how is it? How does it work at the moment? Because I guess these international students come and live in dorms. They don't live with Norwegians. So do they get any kind of opportunity of meeting Norwegian lifestyle and common families and so on?
Well,
do you actually enhance that in any particular way?
We try to.
You try.
We have many international students, but we have many more Norwegian students, obviously. We do try to, or wish that there are as much interaction as possible between international students and Norwegian students. For many of the international students, they have their main arena for that would be in the classroom. They would be in a class with Norwegian students, which is great. On certain study programs, the international students are sort of much more isolated because the class consists of mostly international students, right? So it's important for us to have activities going on campus that that are pro integration, sort of. And but we would love that in addition to the student house and pub that we mentioned at Hydranten, in addition to what is going on at the student dormitory, we would love for Hamar to have a public space that would attract our students to a larger degree. Because at the moment, I'm not sure if the public space that's actually attracting most students, whether they are Norwegian or international, if that is the Maxi shopping mall, or if it's the cinema theater or the pedestrian street. What I think I know is that the students in the city, they are not as visible as we all want them to be. So my dream one of my dreams for the Stortorget project is that it will be a natural place for all of our students to spend some time, regardless of where they come from. And that there is something going on there that invites them to take part together. Perhaps that would be an open a lecture, or perhaps it's something that goes on at a decent cultural center, perhaps. We will see.
Okay. And at the moment, how do you think Hamar University College can get engaged into the project? Do you think there's any kind of possibilities of links or cooperation? In the sense that if we want to incorporate these inputs from the students and the international students who are, citizens of Hamar, even if they are only temporarily, how can we get them engaged into the project?
Well, first of all, I think it's important that the project group takes the opportunity to sort of market the project towards our students, and of course us working at the college can be helpful in trying to reach all those students, whoever they are. Because they live in the city, many of them, and in that sense, I think they are all invited to take part and contribute. So we will assist you in reaching those students, definitely.
Perfect. And now back to technology. Now, as an expert in ICT, how do you think we architects or urban designers can bring in the new technologies into providing a most flexible, exciting and innovative public space, in the sense that it really seems like the internet is so much powerful at the moment that it seems like there's many innovative activities and initiatives taking place on the internet. However, the public space is more controlled and restricted, and even kind of becoming more boring because it's quite predictable. It's like no many things can be happening because of security or safety matters or whatever. So how do you think we as designers can fight against this to create the most creative arena for for people to really, be willing to come to the public space, to discover something, to do something?
Well, first of all, there is always a problem connected to open spaces and technology, and especially in a country like Norway, where it's either wet or cold, so it's not easy to just put a lot of technology in a square. So I think a big flat screen would help a lot. You should have an open network. Many students are poor. They have to use the college network. When they're not at the campus, they have no network.
So they don't want to get out, I suppose. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why they want to stay in the college.
If you could provide a free network, like Trondheim has free network, and then there are several cities trying out a free network for everyone. So, and if it's located around the square, people would just naturally try to seek closer to that square in order to just be online. So, and now with the iPad and all these electronic book devices, you would like to be there, and then again you need, especially since the weather can be unstable, you need to have a space where you can sit and sit dry. So that's of course a challenge. There is not so much space to use. It should be open, and still you should have places to sit.
I also wanted to remark, as you said before, that the final aim of all this is about people. It's not that we are fascinated about the technology or that we are so much concerned about the environment. It's our main concern is about people. It's how can we really make this project, powerful, to get people together, to get people to know each other, because we really feel that there's many different interesting groups, but maybe they're not so connected. I mean, or at least we would like them to be more connected. So, the urban design would be an excuse to enhance and promote these social interactions and networks. So it's all about people.
Yes, and I could see also there are a lot of youth using the space around. Like now, there are some places that attract people, the cinema and the McDonald's and also the library, and then there is Koigen, the beach. During the summer there are all the skaters and the beach volley and everything. So I would think if you had a strong network, they would be interested in actually streaming some of the activities from Koigen, which is not that far away, and they could sit like in the square and talk about it and plan, and then go down and make a movie and upload it to YouTube or whatever they want to do. My son is always making movies and things like that, but you're dependent on the network. And then most of them, I think, want to publish it as soon as possible. They don't want to spend a lot of time on the beach where the activities are and then go home and try to edit that. I think if they had the possibility, they would do it right there.
Right away. I don't know if you know, but I'm telling you now that we are also developing a mobile app, so that it's about also enabling different kind of people to get a chance to participate. And we really think that the youngsters have lots to say, but maybe they will be too shy or they just don't want to come to the workshops at all. So we wanted to somehow allow them the possibility to participate in a different way. So we are developing this Dream Hamar mobile app, so that they will be able to write messages and to post them, so that they will be your reference, and we will have a map of their voices as well. So it's about again, it's the technology, but always keeping in mind that our final aim is to get people, people's ideas, and to get their inputs to allowing them. Okay, so another thing. Any memory regarding your childhood linked to any public space? Any kind of
again a very tough question.
Riding the bicycle for the first time, or I don't know, the first whatever.
I don't even remember that. So no, I was not, as a kid, I was not afraid of crowds, and sometimes you would visit a crowded place, but I have no traumatic experiences with that. I think I have to think a little bit about it. Jens, do you have?
I don't really remember any specific.
It's not about traumatic experience, it's about a positive experience. I don't know if the question
You're
was clear enough.
Well,
it's like, do you have a kind of a memory linked to the public space? For example, myself. In Madrid there's this Plaza Mayor, which is the main Stuttgart also, like the main square in the city, and there was, for the carnivals, it's like there's always you have to dress up, and I really remember that every year I would dress up and then go, and it's about and it was a kind of an urban experience because the square would be filled with people on that day. So there's some kind of memories from my childhood because I was very much urban kid. linked to to these urban experiences. And I was just wondering if you have any.
But it's so different when you like grow up in Madrid and in other major cities. In Norway, most cities are very small. I mean, if there are cities at all, and I think most people have a relation to
Nature, maybe.
to the castle. Watching the castle in Oslo on 17th of May, and you watch it on television because you don't have like public spaces. You just
Well,
have
that's quite an intense public space experience. It's like you've been watching that for years on the TV.
And you see all these people because normally, I mean, I've been living in small places like a couple of hundred people, and you never see so many people in one place. So, but when they pass the castle and the king and the queen, I think most Norwegians have a relation to that.
Okay.
I remember again a negative experience. I was chased by a dog in a park in Oslo. It was not a very nice experience. But you know, parks obviously have many good sort of associations with parks. You know, family picnics or barbecue. When I was a bit older, and perhaps me and some friends, we went to the park when one of the parks in Oslo. We had a few beers. It's per definition against the law, but still, it's something, you know, a nice thing that people do, and it's under controlled circumstances. So in Hamar we have several parks. We have natural places where we can hang out and where we can just, you know, having those kinds of impressions. Jens said that he wished that the Stortorget could be a bit, could have some trees and be a bit green as well. And I don't know if that's the place where we will have that experience in the future. I hope so, but it will be a smaller, sort of a condensed area, I guess. But certainly, it's going to be very exciting, and just see how it develops.
Okay, now what is your dream? That's the final question. Dream for Hamar, dream for Stortorget, dream for Norway, for yourselves. Well, for Hamar, it's easier.
Well, I would, from my professional point of view, I would like the University College or future University of Hedmark, Oppland, Innlandet, whatever it may be called, and Campus Hamar to be a part of the city much more than it is now. And I want people to come to us and us to go outside and be part of the community much more than now.
And then as musicians, because we just went over that very quickly, but I know you're musicians, both of you. So as a musician, what would you like for the city?
To have me playing on the Stortorget.
Well, we can build a stage, that's not a problem.
So I'll come and play there, for instance.
Yes, that would be nice. Do you have any chances to play in the open air space, stage?
I usually play in an open cafe in the backyard. So I've played there several times, and I like playing outside.
Okay, but we need a bigger space to have a bigger audience.
Maybe.
Okay, and your dream?
Well, let me put it this way. I read, I think, in Lonely Planet Norway about Hamar just recently, and it said that Hamar. It said something like Hamar is not a city that would win a beauty contest or something like that.
We know that also.
But,
we already read that.
Yeah, a dream for Hamar and the project could perhaps be that, you know, this would be a place where you could have experiences, where you could meet people and interact, where you can have some cultural input, perhaps there will be something on the square that would trigger your imagination or make you curious about something and wanting to investigate that further. And if it was mentioned in The Lonely Planet as one of the top reasons to go to to go to Hamar and actually see the square, and because it's unique. That's perhaps not a very big or very important aspect if you look at it, in a larger scale. But I think it would be very nice for Hamar and the people living there if this was something unique that would attract people from potentially all over the world, tourists, etc. And it's something we could be proud of.
That is exactly what I also want. And I promise you that we are working very hard for that. Even today we are delivering the preliminary design, so there's like a lot of people working in Madrid to make it possible. So, but that is exactly what we would like to. So I think we are I hope we're in the track. Okay, and as a musician, any wish?
You mean for
as a
who
musician,
will perform at the square? Or?
Yeah, or I don't know.
Potentially my band.
Yeah.
But I would like to see major international artists performing in Hamar. If there are several arenas in the city for a performance, but if Stortorget in the future would be a natural pick, I think it would be great. It would be interesting to see how it can be done physically, with the.
It has worked quite well in Trondheim to have the concerts on the square. So.
Yeah, but just a couple of weeks ago, I saw Prince in Oslo, and
nice.
I would love to see one of his shows again. So potentially at the new square,
Yes.
Opening concert.
We have to change the description of the Lonely Planet. Right? That's the first challenge here. Okay, I want to thank you for your participation, for coming here, for joining us, for your ideas, for taking part in the workshops, I hope, and for everything else. I just want to remind everyone that if you want to contact us, if you want to tell us your story, you can always email us dreamhammer@gmail.com. And also you can keep updated information on the website, which is dreamhammer.org. And I think there's some more questions from the chat, so I'll just check with my colleague Noah. Next week. Yeah, okay. I just want to remind you that we will always meet you on Mondays, always at 6. Not always in the same place, but we like this background, so we may be coming here more often. Then also in the next weeks I will be introducing you to our new collaborator, who is Thomas Notby. Hello Thomas, who is also with us today. And I don't know if you have any other question, just chat very quickly, because otherwise we'll be leaving very soon. And let me check the chat. Okay, what is that text ideal behind you? I think it should be Thomas telling us about that. So just let us know. I will just move a little bit. Hello Thomas,
Hello.
how are you?
Hello. Fine.
Somebody's asking what is this, and I think you are the person to tell.
It's great art, isn't it? Yeah, it's a great logo. It's actually a flatbed factory that was started by my granddad in 1924.
Yeah.
And
It was here in Hamar.
here, actually, we're sitting here right now. We're a little above. The factory is pretty far down to the street, but it was 3 storages and a pretty big factory.
And it was running for how many years?
It was running for approximately 60 years. 4 years. It was sold in 1987 to the Swedes that run Vasa. And the factory was moved to Sandvika, which is not very far from here.
Beautiful logo. Do you know who designed it?
But I know who did this painting.
Yeah.
It's Mattias Fallbacken.
Yeah.
Who designed the logo back in the days, I have no idea. But
So it looks like 50s, right? From the 50s or something?
It could be.
Like the colors and the patterns and everything.
So after
So,
the war.
I must say, because I think I didn't say that we are at the moment at the communal building, and this is the fourth floor, so it's where the area plan is. And we picked this background because it's very colorful and nice. Okay. I also have to say that we had some technical problems last week session, and we couldn't record it. There was some problem. I hope this week is fixed, and we really hope it never happens again. So we will come with a summary version, interviewing again Guy Cock, who is so nice that he just wants to go through it again. And we'll this week, well, a quick update of what we've been doing here. As I said, Thomas just joined the team, so he will give us a hand with the Norwegian communication. He's a journalist and he's gonna work as a reporter for us, so I think now the communication with the Norwegians should be more fluid and easy, right? We hope.
Yeah,
And also Noah and myself, we've been here around, we're already inviting the local communicators and local activators, so, and we've been working to develop further the content for the 5 workshops that I already mentioned. And I mean, that's about it. And it's raining and time goes very fast, and it's going to be September very soon. We were in the newspaper on Saturday. We got an interesting interview from HA, and we look weird in the picture, but that's all right. I mean, we can live with that. Okay, I think it's almost 7, so I think if there is any other question, we just go. I don't know. God is in rain. Yes. Okay. And in the next week, we still. I think we already know who we are interviewing. It's Bjart. It's a person from the media. He's very much engaged into TV shows and TV activities. So we'll be happy to interview him next Monday, and that's about it. I don't know. Noah, do you have any other? Okay, so thank you very much.
Hi, Francesco. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Jens, and thank you very much to all of you for attending. And please, if you have any question, comment, or if you want to reach us, just write us an email. I also want to remind everyone that the registration is open still for the online workshop, so you just can find the information on the website. Okay, thank you very much, and bye-bye.